podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.
Hey, thanks for pressing play and welcome to another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast on the BLEAV Podcast Network, brought to you by FanDuel. Hello and welcome to the Suns Jam Session podcast, brought to you by the BLEAV Podcast Network and FanDuel. If you know the name of the movie you'd like to select, press 1 now. To browse through current movie titles, press 2 now. If you know the Theater Express code, enter that shit now. Remember those days? Remember calling in to know what the movie times were? Like, I don't know if kids these days know how good they got it. Like, if you are under, I don't know, 25 for sure. Maybe even 35 now, I don't know. But if you wanted to see a movie, you would have to call the movie theater express line to see what movies were playing. And then you couldn't buy tickets over the phone. You'd have to go to the theater. You'd have to buy it at the front counter. And there was no assigned seats. You know, now you just hop on, I want to see Weapons. I'm just going to hop on my little application here, see the time, press that, see the seats, select that, done. Then they charge you like an $8 convenience fee because it was convenient for them somehow. But no, back in the day, you got to show up and, you know, God forbid, because I used to go to the AMC Esplanade over there on Camelback and like 22nd Street, and you'd meet friends there. Let's go see Independence Day or Men in Black. And you meet friends there, and if there's always the one person who was late. Always. The person who, to this day, is not what you would define as successful in life, because they've been perpetually late since 1998. And if they didn't show up on time, they'd have to come into the theater and try to find you. Psst, hey, it's Ryan. Where are you guys at? And you got to try to save him a seat. You had to go through the awkwardness of saving a seat in a movie theater where people would come in and they're like, seat's taken? You know, and you can't see it here, all that shit. None of that exists anymore. Going to the movies is so much better these days. But again, like, it's like everything, right? Back then you had to earn the information. Now it's just on your phone. Probably how you're listening to this podcast, just through your phone. Which is fine. I appreciate it. I think it's because I've been to the movies a lot recently. I've been, 5 consecutive weekends my wife and I have gone to movies, which is something that, I love going to the movies. Growing up in Arizona, summertime, there's 2 things you do, right? You go to the movies, or you join a fucking bowling league. Because they're both inside, they're air-conditioned, and you can eat some food. And you can be entertained. And I'd be in a bowling league, because I've been in bowling leagues my whole life. But I done threw my back out a couple years ago, so right when it starts feeling good, the last thing I want to do is hurl a 17-pound ball down a lane and knock over some pins. But thanks for pressing play, and welcome to a Suns traffic jam short. Yeah, driving to work. Thought I'd record something. My wife says, "Do you miss doing podcasts? You did them like every fucking night of the week for 6 months." I'm like, no, I don't miss it, but I don't tell her. Like, secretly I do. This is my therapy session, you know? And if you're listening to this must be your therapy session too. It's August, bro. It's August. The worst month of the year. You've heard my rants on that. The worst month of the year. And I always find it funny that people are like, well, my birthday's in August, so I don't agree with you. Okay. Just because your birthday's in August doesn't make it a great month. Maybe for you, but don't expect the rest of us. But yeah, that makes sense. Oh, it's a great month. There's not a fucking holiday in this month. 31 days, no holidays, no break. Just unrelenting boredom. I've been playing so much MLB The Show, it's ridiculous. And if you've ever played that video game, there's a thing called Diamond Dynasty, which all these video games have now, right? collect cards. You can use them as members of your team. And I like MLB The Show's the best because, unlike NBA 2K, the worst thing about NBA 2K is you can do that same kind of concept, but with NBA 2K, the cards run out. You get them for 5 games. You're like, well, what the fuck? That's not fun. Whereas MLB The Show is elite at releasing content every Tuesdays and Fridays. They release new cards. You get collections. You can grind towards those cards by playing little games and such. And I'm just playing the shit out of it. And I haven't spent $1 extra on that game other than what I paid for it. Because that's always the frustrating part is you play and you want to get a Shohei Ohtani card, but it's 300,000 stubs. And you're like, the only way I can do that is if I pay for it. But no, if you just take the time and you're bored as I am, you can make it happen. I did that the other day. I got the Shohei Ohtani card and his All-Star card all on the same night. It was like something I've been working towards for 2 months. But I will say this. And I know I'm going on a lot of rants and I haven't talked about the Phoenix Suns once, but oh well. As much as I hate August and have been vocally adverse to everything that is August, even the phonetics of it annoy me. There is one thing I really like about August. And I forget about this every year. And it's how I spend my Augusts. Augusts. See, even saying August plural sucks. But it's fantasy football prep. I spend this month listening to fantasy football podcasts, watching Hard Knocks with the Buffalo Bills this year, doing prep mock drafts, ways to pass the time. Because at the end of the month is when all my fantasy football drafts happen. And as much as I love basketball and care about the Suns and care about covering the sport, man, I love fucking football. And I love fantasy football. Because I'm a Cardinals fan. And they always suck by week 5. So you have to have a reason to continue to watch. And I watch. That's what I do on my Sundays. I sit down and I watch the Red Zone all damn day. And that first weekend, which is like September 6th, I think, 7th, something like that this year. The family comes over, do some grilling, play some beer pong, and just enjoy the fact that football's back, because I fucking love football. So that's what makes August tolerable, in my opinion. Another fun thing about August is to think outside of the box when it comes to the Suns, all right? Here you go. I don't know how many minutes in I am, but let's talk some Phoenix Suns shit. But I come up with different ideas for articles on the Phoenix Suns. For brightsideofthesun.com. Check it out. It's where I write a lot. Again, another conduit of therapy for me. Ways to put things out into the universe so I can just process them and carry the hell on with my day. And I have like this PDF that's got like 101 questions to help you pass the off season, right? Some other writers on SB Nation started using it a few years ago. We kind of reshare it with each other every year to remind each other of things to write about because there's nothing to fucking write. Like, what is there to talk about the Suns right now? Jalen Green, Devin Booker, will it work? Like, how many times are we going to have that conversation until the season starts or once the season begins? There's only so much of that you can beat into the ground. Trae Young, should it happen? I don't know. Press 5. Sorry, driving to work here. So if I start cussing at bad traffic, just know that they're the asshole. I'm not. But a couple of fun topics and thought exercises is essentially what they are that I've written about recently or will be posting on Brightside is, come on, let me in. I want to join the party on the freeway. Jesus Christ. Some skyline just crossed 3 lanes. You had to hit that exit, man. You had to hit oh, man. Like, how do you do that? How do you drive? And as you're driving, you know what your exit is. You know when it's coming. There's signs. Hey, 3 miles. You need to get off the freeway? 3 miles. That's when you're going to do it. How can you wait till the last fucking second, go across 3 lanes in a gore lane to hit your exit? What do you do? What is going through your mind when you're driving like that? Nothing? You're just staring at the headlights in front of you, or the taillights in front of you, and just being like, well, I'm going somewhere. I don't remember where. And all of a sudden, oh shit! Greenway! Anywho. Off-season topics. So here's a couple for you to ponder, and that I've been pondering while sitting at a bench by the pond, feeding the ducks, even though the sign tells me not to. Would you be a Suns fan if you knew that they would never win a title? I guess that's obviously it's a impossible question to answer because you can never truly know whether or not a team will win a title. That's why we keep watching, right? But if you knew with absolute certainty that this team wouldn't win a title, would you still root for them? I like to think the answer would be yes, at least for me. I think the answer is yes. Although I don't know how engaged I would be, but there's beauty in the struggle, right? I mean, that's why we watch. It's the drama of sports. That's, people, my wife, why don't you just pause the game? Because you don't pause live TV. You can pause a reality TV show. You can pause Vanderpump Rules. And you can pause a sitcom. But we all watch TV for the same thing, the characters and the drama. And sports just happens to give us unscripted drama every night, and the characters are constantly changing, which makes it engaging, and there's storylines and things of that nature. So I'd like to think that I would still root for the Suns. But it's tough, right? It's like, well, what are you rooting for? Well, I'm rooting for them to win. Well, they're never going to win. Well, shit. Catch 22. You got me. So I'd like to think I would. So sure, why not? Here's another one. It's an article that I have publishing tomorrow on Brightside, because I'm going to post this later today. And today's Wednesday, August 20th. What moments have made you almost want to quit as a fan? Think back in your Suns fandom. How close have you been to quote-unquote quitting the team? Because I know I've been close. And I know that I've quit a team before. So I know what it means to quit a team. The Buffalo Bills, right? They're on Hard Knocks. Love the Bills. Enjoy the Bills. But I don't root for them like I used to. Because when I was a kid, I was a Buffalo Bills fan. All right, born in 82. You know my stories. Like, born in 82, Phoenix, Arizona. Moved to L.A. in 85. Grew up there. But my mom's from Buffalo. My mom moved to Phoenix from Buffalo in the 50s. And so my grandfather, huge Buffalo Bills fan. World War II vet. He was a butcher in Buffalo. Moved his family out to Phoenix in the 50s. Probably because he's tired of that lake effect snow or whatever they got going on in Buffalo. But growing up, coming home for Thanksgiving every year, I remember going to my grandfather's house, Grandpa Charlie, and check out the article on Brightside. I got a picture of Grandpa Charlie in his Buffalo Bills gear, and he loved the Bills. And it was easy to like him when I was growing up, right? 88, 89, 90. Like they made the AFC Championship game. They were a good team. They were a fun team to watch. If you're a little kid watching football, the Buffalo Bills were a fun watch. And so I grew up loving the Bills, and you all know the stories. I mean, I just watched it the other day. The 30 for 30 called The Four Falls of Buffalo. It's an amazing documentary that documents the Buffalo Bills losing 4 consecutive Super Bowls. Super Bowls 25, 26, 27, 28. And I went through those, man. The first one was the most heartbreaking because that's the 47-yard field goal missed wide right by Scott Norwood, right? They lose by a point to the Giants. It just breaks your heart. You're a little kid. And you're like, oh, this sucks. My football team, I wanted them to win the Super Bowl. And they didn't. But the next year, they were 13-3 again. And they were even more fun to watch. And I'm really starting to come into age of really just sitting. That's what I did on Sundays. Sit down and watch. There's Notre Dame on Saturdays, football on Sundays. And the Bills were nationally televised a lot, because there wasn't the red zone. You know, for the youngins, we haven't always had the red zone. And you'd watch the Bills, and they were amazing. And they went back to the Super Bowl. And they played the Washington Redskins. And I knew the Redskins were good, because that's back when what was I? This was like 1991 season. So I turned 9 during that season. And I used to be obsessed with box scores. Get the newspaper, look at box scores, just look at the stats. It's probably why, analytically, I enjoy writing about the Suns, is because I like digging into statistics and identifying trends and seeing if those trends fortify what you see, right? That's what makes writing about the Suns really fun for me. I have all my little websites. In fact, I was going to write some articles for PHNX about the Arizona Cardinals, and I still might do it. Espo's awesome, and I asked him if he'd be willing to. I'm like, I'll do it for free, man. I want to write. It's the dead time, right? It's fucking August. I want to write about something of merit. But what I realized when I started coming up with ideas to talk about in the Arizona Cardinals space, I realized something is I don't know where any of the websites are. Like, I have any statistic, any graph. I have over 5-6 years of writing about the Suns. I have my go-to places. I know, I'm like, oh, hey, that's an interesting point. Let me look if there's data to back that up. Oh, the data does. Here, let me post that and link to where I found. I just hit a fucking traffic jam. Coming down to 51. But as I look for Arizona Cardinals stuff, I don't know where to start. Like Pro Football Reference. Because I know what I see when I watch the Cardinals preseason. Blech, and I want to be able to at least quantify what I'm seeing. And I haven't spent the time putting the research in. I'm too busy playing MLB The Show, I guess. But anyways, I went through the 4 losses for the Buffalo Bills. And they were one was worse than the other. And by the time we got to the Dallas Cowboys, 9 turnovers in that Super Bowl. 9 turnovers. And it reminded me of a game that almost made me want to quit the Suns, which I'll get to here momentarily. And then they went back, and I hated the fucking Cowboys. My parents called them the Cow Pies. There's no love for the Cowboys in my household. And now there's that new Netflix doc where I know I'm going to have to relive that shit again, because I'll watch it, because I like football and I like history and all that shit. But yeah, after that, I quit the Bills. I said, fuck it. It's by this time it's 1993, I want to say. Maybe it's early 94. I feel like it was 1990. Yeah, it was early 93. After that last Super Bowl loss to the Cowboys, 2 in a row. I go, you know what? I'm from Phoenix. My grandpa Voida, my dad's dad, because it's my mom's dad, who's, as I mentioned earlier, a big Bills fan. They used to always send me Phoenix Cardinals gear. I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to support the local. If I'm going to be a loser, I'm going to be a loser of a Phoenix team, because I always had that sense of pride growing up. And, growing up in L.A., I always liked to represent the fact that I was born in Phoenix and I'm from Phoenix. Go Suns. And then I said, fuck it, go Phoenix Cardinals. And I've been a loser ever since. So I know what it means to quit a team. So what moments have made you want to quit the Phoenix Suns? So I was thinking about it, and I got 3 that got me awfully close. So the first one, May 20th, 1995. Mario Ellie, Kiss of Death. I was so fucking pissed. By this time, I'm about to be 13 years, 95. So I was about to be 13, because that was summer 95. So I'm 12 years old. And I remember watching that game, and I'm sure you guys have heard me say this before, or I've definitely written about it. I chucked a remote so hard into the concrete floor, because we don't have any carpet at my mom's house. Just concrete, which is genius. When you got 5 kids and 4 of them are boys, don't have fucking carpet. We'll ruin it. And I chucked the remote so hard into the ground. I was so fucking pissed that they lost that game. Because that was the year, right? That was the year, because I'm pretty sure the Rockets were like the 6th seed. And the Suns were the 2 seed, and that was our year, man. No Jordan in the way. Just get through the Houston Rockets, and you're on your way to a championship potentially. I was so pissed, and maybe I'm like, why do I put myself through this shit? Even at a young age of 12, I'm like, why do I put myself through this shit? And I wouldn't say I quit the Suns, but I definitely took a step back because, again, my parents were freshly divorced. I had newfound freedom coming from an extremely strict Roman Catholic family that was, my dad was, very militaristic in the way that he ruled the household. He was gone. I was 12. I had a BMX bike, man. I was fucking out of there. So the next season, I don't remember much of it. Next couple seasons, I wasn't avidly watching the Phoenix Suns like I had up to that point. Because I was just like out roaming the back alleys, getting behind a Circle K, smoking some dope. I think. Maybe that was a couple years later. So that moment got me close. The Robert Horry hip check. After that, now granted, we had won that game, and I think we won the game after that, after the suspensions. But when the suspensions happened, I almost threw my hands up, because this was 07, right? We had been through 05, we'd been through 06. Here's 07, like another year, another opportunity. And this time it felt like the league was against us. This time it felt like Daniel Stern had a personal vendetta against Jerry Colangelo or something. It's like, why the fuck am I spending all my time and money, because at that point I'm in, my early 20s. I'm 22. No, 07. I'm 20. Fuck math, huh? 24. You're going to the bars. You don't got any money, but you're going to the bars. Back when you could get like wings and 6 beers for $50, but even then you're like, $50? That's a third of my paycheck or whatever. I'm like, why am I spending all my time, money, and energy on this team when it's a rigged game? When Daniel Stern, earlier in the series or earlier in the game, I can't remember which, but like Tim Duncan came off the bench. I forget who it was. I feel like it was Ginobili or something, or somebody went to the hoop, got fouled hard, and Duncan got up off the bench and walked towards him. Why didn't he get suspended? And so it felt like it was a rigged game, so I wanted to quit the Suns then. But it wasn't because of the Suns or their performance or the anguish they had put me through necessarily. It's more that I was mad at the league. And then the closest I've been since then reminded me of Super Bowl 27, Buffalo Bills, Dallas Cowboys. When the Buffalo Bills turned the ball over 9 fucking times. It was over before it began. And that's Game 7 against another Dallas team, Luka, in 2022. That was so fucking deflating. And you could hear it in Matthew and I's voices on the post-game pod, how it was just like shell shock, like what the hell happened? We weren't even competitive. A team that won 64 games was not even competitive. And I don't know what the FanDuel line on that one was. But if minus 22.5 was an option, jeez. I remember I wanted to bet the live line on that too. Because when the Suns went down early, I was like, there's no way. The Suns plus 14.5. I'm like, they'll cover that shit. They didn't. I'm glad I didn't. That would have added insult to injury. That's why you don't bet on your teams. Bet against them. If you ever want to bet when it comes to your teams, bet against your teams. Don't bet for them. So at least if you lose in real life, you win in your wallet. Stop by FanDuel. Gamble responsibly. But that's as close as I've come to quitting the fan base. Now, I wouldn't have at that time. By that time, I'm way too invested in this team. Obviously, podcasting about the team at that point for 3 years. Writing about them for pretty much the same time. A couple years on Brightside at that point. But it was just gut-wrenching. Yeah, but that's the kind of stuff I'm writing about on Brightside, the kind of thoughts I have. I don't have thoughts necessarily on this team that I haven't expressed already. We just have to wait and see. Again, I'm excited to see this team, and I've been hesitant to say that, but fuck it. Here I am again, right? I'm excited to see the team. I told you guys that at the end of last season, I will not get excited going into this season. Fuck it. Here I am. I'm excited. But I'm also pessimistic in the way that they will perform. I'm excited to see the effort. I'm not excited to see the results of the games. And I just wonder how many games into the season in doing post-game podcasts are Matthew and I just going to be like, okay, We get it. They got effort. Now win some fucking games. Because that first, 20 games of the season, which are the first 20 games when you understand what a team is, right? 20 games is 25% of the season, roughly. It's 24.6 or some shit. You know who you are by then. And that first 20 games is brutal, man. 2 against the Jazz, 2 against the Kings, 1 against the Pelicans. Those are the easiest teams we have. Everybody else, you can make a case that the Suns could lose. They go 5-15. If they go 5-15, remember, August 20th, John Voight has said, while sitting in traffic that's not fucking moving, because apparently there's some kind of accident ahead, that I would not be surprised by a 5-15 stop by the Phoenix Suns. But we'll see. What else I got to talk about as I sit here rambling? Should I bitch about other things that... I used to have to go to the library and use the Dewey Decimal System to do research papers. Now kids just plug that shit into AI, save themselves 40 fucking hours. What do they do with that extra time? They sit on their phones, scrolling TikTok. We're so attached to our phones, man. I try to make it a personal purpose. Put the fucker down. It's we're not allowed to be bored. Right now, I should be bored out of my fucking brain. I'm sitting here in traffic, a Suns traffic jam session. We're moving. I'm going 4 miles an hour, and I should be bored out of my fucking brain. This is where I should, in the past, I just turn on 98.7, listen to the radio. But no, I'm talking. Without coffee, mind you. 7:44 in the morning. I don't drink coffee. I drink energy drinks, but my wife said they're bad for me, and I don't drink them because I'm I need the energy, clearly. But I like the taste. So I just drink water now, like a fucking chump. But I should be bored. But instead, I got this little device called a telephone, an iPhone. I turn on the microphone app and I talk. It's okay to be bored. I'm embracing the boredom this off season. The fact that I'm doing this pod is an anomaly because Matthew and I are kind of both dude, we need a break. Matthew's got a kid on the way. We grind. You guys know this. You listen. You hit the thumbs up button. You subscribe. You leave a comment. But we give a shit. And we try to put out fun and engaging content. But sometimes you just need a break. And we've been taking one this summer. I feel like we've done a good job. I've had to slow down. Matthew, he's okay with slowing down. It's hard for me to slow down because clearly I'm just OCD about this shit. So I've tried to embrace the boredom. But I get bored being bored. Just like everyone else. So I pick up my phone. I scroll through TikTok now. I do mock drafts. All right, so back end of the pod. I'll describe the accident that apparently everyone's slowing down to see, because that's probably what it is. It's probably a little fender bender, but everyone's oh, look at them. They're having a shitty morning. I'll talk a little fantasy football strategy for you who give a shit, because anybody who's in my fantasy football leagues is not listening to this podcast, including Matthew. Guaranteed. Nobody's listening to this shit. Here's what I'll say. Now, granted, I'm in weird leagues, right? I'm in 3 super flex leagues, which means you can have the option for a second quarterback, and none of them have kickers. I'm in my league, which has no defense because I just don't like that shit. And then I'm in kind of one normal league, but we added an extra flex spot to get rid of a kicker this year. So it's just Jesus Christ. If you're in super flex leagues that have more than just 2 running backs and 2 wide receivers, if you got 2 flex spots, go receiver heavy. Receivers don't get injured as much, and if you're in full PPR, which all my leagues are full PPR, which is point per reception, then just get wide receivers. Get a stud running back. I recommend that. It's called the hero running back strategy. You get 1 stud running back, and then just go wide receiver heavy. Who should those wide receivers be, John? John, I don't like football, so I'm tuning out. Have a good day. I love you. Thanks for hanging out. Wide receivers I like. Outside of the top guys, right? These are guys in the middle rounds because that's what makes or breaks your team. Middle rounds. I like Ricky Parasol from the San Francisco 49ers. No Brandon Ayuk. Deebo Samuel's gone. Purdy's been targeting him in preseason, which doesn't mean much, but he's a talented receiver. ASU. He's the kid who got shot in the chest last year, remember? And he still came back that season. What a fucking G. But I like him because I just think he's going to get a lot of the target share there. I like Calvin Ridley a lot in Tennessee, and I just feel like it's because Tennessee has a young quarterback, first overall pick, Cam Ward, who's a gunslinger. In his time at Wazoo and Miami, the kid could throw the fucking ball. And that team's going to be down. They're going to be behind in points. So chuck that fucking rock around and let Calvin Ridley, who's a great receiver, go catch some of those. So he's another guy I'm kind of targeting right in the middle there. I like Tet McMillan from Carolina for kind of the same reasons, although he's a rookie and he's having hamstring issues, and I just feel like his draft capital is a little too high. You got to give him like the 4th round. If he's like a 6th round pick, I would definitely seek him out. But I just feel like his draft capital is too high. And the fact that I play in leagues where people went to U of A, they know who he is, they're going to pick him just because he went to U of A. So he'll be off the board probably, and I'm okay with that. There's another kid, the Ohio State kid, like Emeka Mbokwu, whatever his name is. I like that kid too. He plays for the Bucks. Other side of Mike Evans, Baker, touchdown maker, is a fucking gunslinger as well. So I feel like he's going to have a lot of opportunity. I remember 2 seasons ago, he played against Notre Dame, and some kid from Notre Dame fucking smacked the shit out of him. The kid, he was out for like 5 games, so go Irish. And back into the draft, Joshua Palmer, man. The guy plays with Josh Allen. He's going to be a deep threat on the Buffalo Bills. I know it's like Russian roulette trying to figure out who the Buffalo Bills are going to target in the passing game, but they are going to target somebody. And you can get that guy in like the 12th fucking round, so why not? But that's just some fantasy football advice for you guys out there. As far as running backs, I always gravitate towards the rookies. I have Jahmyr Gibbs in like 3 leagues because they're keeper leagues, and I drafted him when he was a rookie, and I was like, holy shit! And I held on. I remember I tried to trade him to one team that had a Lions fan on it, but it was two guys on the team. The Lions fan, his teammate said, let's do it. And the Lions fan said no. And, yeah, that guy ended up leaving the league. I was like, dude, I tried to give you Jahmyr Gibbs. I wanted Tony Pollard. Well, this was like 2 years ago. But anyways, but I like Travion Henderson from the Patriots. The kid, Omarion something or other from the Chargers. Target one of those guys. Get one rookie running back on your team. And there you go. There's fantasy football advice. Fantasy basketball is around the corner. Well, we do the Suns Potter Fodder League, which I'm pretty sure we'll do a podcast about at some point. And that'll be coming up soon. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on my drive. No fucking accident. Just a shit ton of people. Said there was an accident. Maybe I'm coming up on it, but I don't think so. I don't think so. Just a lot of people. It's another thing that sucks about fucking August. Everyone's back in school and the traffic's back. I work remote 1 day a week, and I drive into the office because I'm a fucking insane person. I could work from home every day if I wanted to, but I like I like the cadence of it. It's probably because I worked in food and beverage and restaurants and hotels forever. I'm like, you can't work remote from there. So I'm just used to doing it. I'm like, I'm not gonna let working from home consume me. I like going into the office. But all summer long, ever since the Suns were eliminated, August 13th, the traffic's been all right in the morning. But once fucking August comes around, all the little kiddies are back in school. It's like a clogged artery going down the freeways in Phoenix. It's like pounding 2 double cheeseburgers from In-N-Out. You just have to sit there for like 5 minutes afterwards and be like, what the fuck did I just do to my body? Sorry, body. I was hungry. And I drove by In-N-Out and it smelled delicious. So I went and I got a double-double. Mustard fried. That's the way to do it, my friends. Mustard fried with pickles and onions. Bet you didn't know that. In-N-Out has pickles. Delicious. And mustard fried, they cook the patty in mustard. And I don't know about you. I'm a mustard person. Like, I'll put mustard on my fries before ketchup. I'm not a big condiment person. Drives my wife fucking nuts. She puts hot sauce and ketchup on fucking everything. I'm eating eggs, just raw dog. Salt, pepper. Although I do like paprika on my eggs. But I like mustard. So if you like a little tang to your burger, hop on down to In-N-Out. Brought to you by FanDuel. All right, Jamsters. Well, again, thanks for spending some off-season time with me, you fucking psycho. Make sure you subscribe. Oh, there's the accident. Somebody got fucking fender bendered. Yep, I called it fender bender. Everybody slow down. Fender bender. But make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. If you happen to be listening to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, leave 5 stars, write a little review. Truly appreciate it. We'll read it on the podcast. We'll give you a shout-out for giving us a shout-out. But have a good week, Jamsters. I will see you when I see you. Goodbye. Oh, yeah, go home and love your family on Movie Phone. Brought to you by New Times and Power 92 FM. All right, I'm out of here.
Hey, you're listening to the Suns Jam Session Podcast, shooting the shit about the Suns since 2019.